So I'm joined here today by Victor Miller from Blue Cross Blue Shield, Florida. Victor, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I thought it might be worth just sharing with the audience a little bit about Blue Cross Blue Shield and what you do there.
Blue Cross Blue Shield is based in Florida, and I do a systems management there. I'm the senior manager of systems management, and that entails service management, configuration management, incident management, problem management, basically the ITIL best practice.
What don't you do? Sounds like a challenging role. And of course, even though your primary product obviously is in the healthcare industry, IT is a critical part of making that work for your customers.
That's correct, yes.
So talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges that you've had in delivering better performance and how you've thought about solving the problem differently.
Well, one of the things that we've done to try to solve the problem better is moving operations further into the development lifecycle.
Say more about that.
And that entails taking operational monitoring, for instance, bringing it further back into the process. So instead of monitoring just in production, when they say monitor my app, maybe we get them to say monitor my app in test or stage. And we allow us to get more entrenched in what they're doing in the application space.
So instead of finding out about the app at go live time, your operations team are involved right at the requirements management process?
We'd like to be, but right now we're just in the test environment and as we move it forward, but we're trying to get further and further back into the process.
Great, so getting the operations team more involved in the development process. What about the opposite? Is there any role for developers in the operational environment?
Yes, leveraging what the developers and testers do inside of their disciplines as they're building the code and moving it forward, taking their knowledge and their best practices, moving it into operations is very beneficial also. Instead of recreating the wheel, like rebuilding synthetic monitors or URL monitors in production, well, we take what they're doing in those testing environments, migrate that forward, migrate that knowledge forward because they do a better job of that type of work than the operations folks do natively. We move that forward into our space to be able to allow us to be able to get the benefit of their best practices in operations.
Sounds like great collaboration. I know speaking to so many people around the planet at the moment, everyone's concerned about getting apps to market faster.
Right.
This sounds like it might slow people down.
Not from what I'm seeing. It doesn't add any additional time. What we're seeing is just two separate disciplines working in the same space at the same time. Operations is just being involved earlier in the process instead of being told the day before the app goes to production we have to architect an entire solution for the app. That day, we can architect that solution as it's moving through the life cycle. And operations is monitoring the app, giving advice to the developers and testers as they're moving it forward.
Great. So what sort of results are you seeing?
Better quality. The applications that make it to production, our performance is much better. We get better monitoring in place to be able to give those developers and testers and operations folks information that's very targeted for the application. If there is an incident, they can actually find it a little bit faster than they were in the past.
That's awesome. So just practical implementation question here is, we've talked about some of the technology, the monitoring technology and the process changes. How did the people respond to this? How did you get the people aspect right at your organization?
Well, in our environment, the testers and the operations folks, we came together because we realized we were leveraging the same technologies or same basic platforms. So we kind of worked together to create this. Other organizations may be a lot different, more challenging to them because there's a lot of places developers and testers and operations don't talk.
Yeah, I understand.
So it's bringing them together, and sometimes there's a mandate, but in our case, we saw the writing on the wall that we needed to work together more closely, and so we just kind of did it.
So let me see if I can summarize then. Bring the development organization, bring the operations organization into the development process earlier as part of that requirements process. Bring the developers into the operational environment so they understand the impact of their actions, and really think about organizational alignment as part of the process.
Correct.
Perfect. Sounds like a great recipe to perform better.
Definitely is.
Thanks, Victor.
You're welcome.